Hello everyone, and welcome to the review of the legendary banners. Now this time I'm going to be obviously talking about Yune, or Yune as she's meant to be pronounced, even though that sounds really stupid. The dark mythic hero, even though she literally has a line where she's saying that she's not a dark god, but whatever. Anyway, so here she is. But you can feel the fact that Nintendo actually, told them to just slow down on power creep, because it is it is not as evident as here at this point, because here what you have is a unit that's basically based on Rid for the most part, except instead of having the blocking follow-up attack that Rid has, you have +6 attack. Wow. That's yikes. Okay. How about what else? It's reliant on the enemy being debuffed. That works pretty well with her skill until you realize one thing. So first off, two things. Sabotage Res and Chaos Named can work pretty well with one another, but if you're dealing with a rest tank, well, Chaos Named is completely wasted because it's going to do -5 rest or a stat that's already getting -7 most of the time. The second problem with Chaos Named is that it hits in 3 rows from, not 3 rows, 3 columns from the character. The problem is this is reliant on how the map is. What I mean by this is quite simple. Okay, so say you're in A for 8. This works perfectly. There's no problem, because in A for raids, the maps are vertical, all of them. It doesn't matter which one it is, so of course Yune is going to be fantastic there. Which, I guess was pretty much the case, was pretty much what they were going for to begin with. Where I don't feel so good about is the part where you realize that this only works on vertical map. If you're dealing with her on a horizontal map, like say Arena, like there's a few map in Arena where you just have 4 characters on the left and 4 characters on the right. Imagine the two breakable lines of walls, for example. That's a good example. The one with some forest and some mountain and like 2 death tile in the middle. That's also another one. Those maps, this C skill is fucking worthless because it's not doing it in cardinal directions like it should be. It should be cardinal direction 3 rows, 3 columns, but instead it's just 3 columns, which means on a map that's meant to be more on the horizontal side, you're basically debuffing only things that are next to you. This is worthless. That's kind of a problem in itself, but thankfully, when it comes down to the rest, it's pretty consistent. Even if you remove the 15 attack from the enemy side, you'll typically ploy the attack stat. If you do not ploy the attack stat, you ploy the def stat. Typically, anyway. Which, not as good. Or the speed stat if you're not as high in Arena as the people I'm mostly speaking of here. Which typically is going to be helpful outside of the def one, unless you're using a bonus unit that is not Yune. Now, with that in mind, it kind of works. It kind of works to some extent. Sabotage Res is a good way to work with if you're using Chaos Named and it backfires because of the map. It's still very shaky, and our bulk is just... My god, what have they done? What did they try to do here? This is literally Sanaki with a worse stat line. And oh my god, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's so stupid. Yes, you guarantee follow-up attack, but since you don't block them, well, unless you kill them in 1 round, you're fried. And even in times where you would kill them in 1 round, you might just get one shot because your bulk is that bad. Thankfully, the C skill should be good enough to remove some attack, but that's as good as I can make it, really. Everything else is kind of just... well, it's not consistent. Hell, her fucking unique skill might just be replaced for attack ploy for consistency's sake. And that would actually make sense, because goddamn Chaos Named is not consistent at all. In Sabotage Res, it comes down to how the enemy moves. It can work really well. As a matter of fact, it's just a better chill. But it can still backfire if they just don't stick together. So... So, speaking of comparison, let's compare Sanaki to... Bright Sanaki, of course, to Yune. As you can see, 3 attack and 3 speed are missing. Instead, she gets an extra 3 HP and 4 res at the cost of 1 death. What? So basically, the thing she's got over Sanaki is HP and res, and Sanaki has better attack speed def, you know, the key stat for said unit. What the fuck is wrong with IS? What the fuck? Like, I don't understand this. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. So, apart from being a worse stat line from a almost year-old unit, if you're talking about a weapon is good to some extent, but I'm gonna be honest and say that Sanaki's weapon is better. Because Sanaki's weapon also gives her stats, I believe. I'm not sure if it's attack or speed. Let me see. I actually completely forgot that our weapon also gave attack or speed. I think it's attack. And Tarja was the one that got speed. Yes, attack. So, instead of having a conditional death blow, basically, because you're never going to face tank with her outside of stuff like Reinhardt, which you would kill anyway, so really you gain nothing from this. Well, you have Sanaki that basically gets 3 attack and upward to 6 extra attack from her weapon. So already there she can get more attack from her weapon, but it's a condition that's way easier to fulfill. Combos into golds really well, combos into Camilla really well, combos into characters like Est, Katria, and Pala really well, and you can synergize them so well, it's insane. And then on the other side you have the character that's requiring to ploy, which doesn't work on most maps. Well, on all maps, I guess I should say, because it does work on a decent bit of maps. Like, as long as the map is vertical, it should work. But if it's not vertical, well, yikes. And there's still the element of randomness as to which stat you debuff. Because debuffing res is never going to happen, which is one of the key stats. Well, it's going to happen sometimes, but not often, is what I mean. Which I guess is the reason why she has Sabotage Res, which kind of combos well in one another to some extent. But, it's nothing that, you know, Sanaki can't run. If she just wants, she can run just attack ploy and res ploy, and it will work pretty well, and in some cases even better. Like, yeah, actually better. Because attack res ploy are the type of things that will always help Sanaki, whereas the C skill that Yune has is kind of inconsistent in what it debuffs. It's just less consistent. That's basically what it is. It has more range for vertical maps, and that's great. But outside of vertical maps, or maps after a few turns where you switch to more like an horizontal play, might be a bit problematic. Hell, Sanaki does struggle when it comes on to bulk, just like Yune, or Yune, sorry. But even then, I'd say she's more consistent in debuffing attack through her C skill, because, you know, attack ploy. which makes her a bit more consistent in taking hits, upward to 62 HP if unmerged. So, it's not nearly as bad as it sounds. Besides, if you're using her in a flyer team, you might also be running 45 flyer, which of course Yune also have access to, but Sanaki make full use of it a lot more, especially if you combo this with maybe a gold or something. Just because of Sanaki's weapon, and that's just what it is. Guess there's not much else to say. I feel like Sanaki is honestly a better option. She has just more versatility in general. And when it comes down to Yune, you have like 2 boons you should go for, either death or attack. And to some extent Sanaki also, but she can also go for speed plus because she doesn't get guaranteed follow-ups. Which, I mean, is something Yune does get in general over her, but considering if you're using something like Fury with speed plus, and then Own Flyer, you're already at 42 speed, and then her weapon with like 2 people pushes that to like 46 speed. I don't think speed is that much of a problem on Sanaki at that point, is it? Let alone if you're using goads instead of owns. Let's be honest. Just saying. So, alright, let's move on to builds. By the way, builds, big shout out to Zanek, because I had to do all of these from scratch. The unit builder is not being updated anymore, which, by the way, the banner on the 10th, don't expect me to do anything on that one, build-wise, because unit builder will still be dead by then, and doing one of these took me about an hour and 30 minutes, so doing 4 would basically be 6 hours. I do not have 6 hours to work on this. Like, every fucking time. That's just not gonna happen. So, sorry if there's people that are looking forward to my builds, but I'm sorry, I just can't really do this. Unless it's something like FE4 or FE5, where they're genuine unit that I want to be talking about and have a decent amount of passion for. I don't think I'm going to go out of my way to do this, just because it's just so time consuming. Anyway, moving to the builds. Build to the left is basically a more so a build to facilitate healing, because Yune fucking needs it. Sturdy impact and buffs will push her to 35 defense, which is not too bad. You're still in a few problems, but you hit 72 attack if you ploy the enemy, which is why you still run Chaos Named. Do understand attack ploy might be a better choice depending on what mode you're really doing. If it's A for raid, Chaos Name will always do better. If it's something like Arena, might want to consider attack ploy, unless you're using, you know, this unit to begin with, because then like in your main team or your first team in AA, because in those cases, in those particular case, having a 300 SPC skill pays more in terms of points, so you know. So yeah, the goal with this set is the goal with the set on the left is basically attack 2 charge, get hit 1 charge, attack back 2 charge, you're at 5 charge. So the next fight you proc A for instantly. If the unit is blue, you'll be able to take a hit. If the unit is green, even if you're unmerged, you're still going to be able to take a hit because it's sturdy impact. If you don't have sturdy impact, sturdy blow also works. Though be careful because your bulk is shaky as fuck at that point. Like you're at +0, you're sitting at 25 def when attacking and 38 HP, that's 63 bulk. So there are quite a bit of armored unit that can just literally one-shot you, unless their name is Grima, because Mystic Boost kind of just screws them up. As for the second set, it's pretty obvious. The weapon gives you an instant follow-up, so it combos into Desperation really well. At that point, you just need Death Blow 4. The main part is just getting to be able to take 1 hit. Chaos Name might help you. and that's also something about the other build. Chaos Name might actually debuff by 5 whatever armored unit it is, and then you'll be able to take a hit. Otherwise, pick a God and pray, I guess, because goddamn you're going to need it. You might also still want to go Sturdy Blow or Sturdy Impact instead of Death Blow 4 to facilitate hitting Desperation. Once you're in Desperation though, your attack should be skyrocketing. Even at +0 you're sitting at 68 attack, as long as the enemy is debuffed of course, or panicked or whatever. 68 attack, hits twice, typically that kills the unit, and the few units you won't be able to kill, you'll basically go for 1 round, get 4 charge, unless the unit has special fighter or something like this. But then you'll move to a second target, proc Glacies, and that's a one-shot. So you can actually use this as another option. Other than this, I guess there's not much to it. She's really the type of unit that makes me think of a worse Rid. Because the thing that made Rid so good is the very extensive mixed bulk that he has, right? There is no mixed bulk here. So taking hits is dangerous. Even at +10 it's dangerous. Even at +0 it's almost suicide, unless Chaos Named debuffs attack. So that's a bit of a yikes if I'm being honest. And just in general, a very shaky unit. Very shaky. I think she's pretty much competing with Lyn when it comes down to worst legendary / mythic hero. I'm genuine about this. I do think that she's better than Lyn, of course, but not by much. Not by much. That death stat is just lamentable. Honestly, if she had, I don't know, 3 points of res moved into defense, she would be a lot better of a unit. But here we are, so yikes. But yeah, not much else to say here. Moving on to the banner rate, which, by the way, that shit took me 6 hours to make. It probably looks a lot better than last time, though, which I'm glad. So, yeah. For those who don't know, which probably is a lot of you, if a number is in green here, okay, if a number is in green, that's because the boon with a merge, for BST I mean, with a merge, will push you to the next BST bin. For example, if you have an attack plus Ophelia and you merge her, getting rid of the Bane, you hit 155 BST because of the 3 BST you get back, or 4 BST if it's HP minus. Which makes her hit 155 BST. 155 BST is a better scoring bin. To put it simply, Ophelia at +1 with attack plus scores better than a unit like, say, Yune. Always. Just BST wise, by the way. Lowen also is the same way, though Res Plus is not nearly as accommodating a boon for him. It's still worth mentioning if you don't have green dual infantry. So alright, let's talk color. Ryoma is still one of the best flyer of this game. Definitely the most shaky of the 3 units here though. Alwyn Mur is a fantastic unit. I've already made that abundantly clear if you've seen my review of Idun. She's just insane. Her best kit is probably easily Fortress Death Res, Special Fighter, and of course, Quick Repose Seal. Combo this with her weapon that basically gives her Bold Fighter with Special Fighter being a better Bold Fighter, as long as she has 5 more defense than the enemy, which is very likely considering how much def she has. Obviously you'll want to go def plus if you go for that type of build. She's insane. Genuinely one of the strongest units of this game, in fact. As for Celica, very underrated unit. Fantastic unit for AR. If you have a healer and you have like colorless dual infantry for set healer, she becomes absolutely insane. She's also fairly versatile, being able to run Armor Smasher, and with just DB4, which she comes with, she's able to take out basically every armored unit in front of her, unless buff are added, in which case that changes a few things, especially with Brave Hector, for example. But if it's green, if it's red, it's typically dead, even if yours is +0 and you're dealing with a +10. That's insane. So, just worth mentioning. DB4 is also a fantastic skill to go for. Myr also has Vengeful Fighter, not really worth it. And I guess Ryoma's Kestrel Stance and Guidance? Who cares, dude? Who cares? As for blue, we have Azura, Lucina, and Ophelia. This is literally the strongest color of this banner. No questions asked. I don't understand how someone could even try to say that it's not. Ophelia is by far the strongest unit that to have come out of 2018. Period. There's just no one that can compare to her. Because the thing that makes Ophelia so broken are AoEs. AoEs you can't use Combat Triangle to deal with. As a matter of fact, she hits so much attack, she can hit 71 attack as a +10 unit with attack buff. Like Attack Tactic, attack waves, that kind of stuff. 71 attack. To put it simply, a Surtur dies instantly from Ophelia. That's how broken of a unit she is. Because the AoE does so much damage, it kicks Surtur out of Wary Fighter, and then the next 2 hit kills him, unless he has DC, and if he has DC, chances are even then he's going to be left with maybe 10 health. You know, one of the best tanky green unit of this game? Bodied by a blue all the time? That's insane. Absolutely insane. As for Lucina, she's very annoying to deal with because of Future Vision. Definitely one of the better archers that we've got. The only competition Gemki has for the strongest infantry archer of this game. And though I do feel Gemki is better than Lucina in a myriad of situations, just because Lucina's color scheme is really fucking her up. Being blue in a meta revolving around green unit is not a boon, it's a bane. The bane of her life. As for Azura, do I have to explain? She's literally one of the most broken unit we've got, and genuinely wish that not IS, but Nintendo pushed IS to be like, yo, slack it down a bit with your power creep before Azura, because that assist skill is so not needed. That assist skill should not have been designed at all. It makes sense for a weapon. Her weapon's fine. It's just an upgraded version of Herder, or however the fuck it's meant to be pronounced. So that's fine, but that assist skill is way too broken. So yeah, blue is basically 2 really, really broken unit and 1 really good unit. As for fodder, basically none. The best fodder you have in there is probably Blue Dual Flyer and Distant Guard, but Distant Guard is not worth it. Here comes green now. Green has Yune, which... no. I would be really hard pressed to actually suggest people to summon for her. She's new. If you like the character, sure, go ahead. But overall, it's a fairly shaky character. She will do really fine as long as she doesn't have to deal with DC or dragons. Which, by the way, why the fuck does she not have Mystic Boost instead of that stupid Sabotage skill? Mystic Boost would have helped her a lot. It doesn't make sense to me. As for Yune, one of the best infantry mages, capable of doing a lot of things that Ophelia can do. Which, speaking of, every time Ophelia is on a banner, Yune is on another banner at the same time, or on the same banner. Eurofest is a good example, and then another one which were a bit distant from one another. I think Lowen was like on a banner, and then a few days later we had Ophelia, or the other way around. That was between the Eurofest banner and this banner. So, yay? Like, I don't understand how they keep doing this. It makes sense though, because the thing that makes Ophelia so broken is if she runs Special Spiral. And guess the fuck what Lowen has? And Lowen can do the same thing as Ophelia to some extent, just basically run Flashing Blade as his seal, and he can still work as a AoE nuke a bit less extent than Ophelia, but other than this, yeah, really good unit. As for Kagero, pretty good unit, has also access to Bolt Fighter, so if you do need Bolt Fighter, well, there you go. Her dagger allows you to stop, you know, enemy from charging skills, but it's on a dagger, and daggers are typically not really good with this, so it's just really not really relevant, I guess would be the best way to put it. As for the rest, it's pretty good. She's a really solid unit. Really held back by her color though. If she was colorless, she would be able to actually rival Jacob, because honestly, she is a better Jacob. If she was colorless, of course, she would be a better Jacob with slaying sets. Obviously, Jacob would have Brave Bow over her, but that doesn't mean Jacob is just better always. It just means he has that build that's really good. But any build that Kagero can mirror to Jacob, Kagero would just do better if she was colorless. So that's kind of a shame, but oh well. Of course, we have to color everything. Next up is Air. I've made my stance about Air very clear, but Air is a very strong unit in AR once she's a bonus unit. But outside of AR, she's honestly outclassed by so many units. Still, decent-ish unit. As for Lyn, this is the fourth rerun Lyn got! The fourth one! The fuck does she have? Swift Sparrow and Attack Smoke? Who gives a damn? That's just so dumb. Either way, Lyn is a alright unit. She really does show a rage though at this point. Too many dragons just completely shaft her, and if you run Fire Sweep, you're going to be lacking in damage in a lot of encounters. It's just not a great time for her. Honestly, every time I see a Brave Lyn, I just see this as, okay, you do nothing to me. The best set she can really run is just Fire Sweep with double Poison Strike. As sad as this is actually the most annoying set to deal with, because otherwise all she does is 0 times 2 to most units. Yeah! Still, she's a decent-ish unit. It's just, you probably already have her for free, so you know it's not really that great. Other than that, we have Mia. Mia is not a bad unit. Definitely has a good weapon also for inheritance. Really broken ass weapon actually. Home Flyer is also pretty good. Other than that, her stat line is, I don't want to say horrible, but definitely not great. It's just a bit of everything, kind of, without really excelling at anything. If only she had, say, 2 more attack or 3 more attack, she would be doing a lot better, but oh well. That's kind of just what we're working with. Still, if you like her, go for her. At the end of the day, if we're talking about the banner, I would say blue is easily the best. Easily. Then it would be... no, it would be red, then green, then colorless. As usual, colorless is dead last. Nothing new to be seen here. Fucking hell. But yeah. This is overall a fairly good banner to summon on. If you don't have Azura, go for her. Like, genuinely, what are you doing? But other than this, it really is up to you. And with that out of the way, I think I'm going to be calling it a day. So, I suppose that's all there is to say about this. The rates are the same as the last legendary banners because nothing has been added to the pool since then. So, you know. I'm going to be seeing you all in Discord, which, by the way, Discord is going to be in the description below, as per usual. I know a few people have been asking me if I did have Discords recently, so there you go. And yeah, that's about it. Have a nice one, everyone.